Morning everyone, Vancouver ride, and I'm off on the commute, fogging up as usual. So hey, if any of you guys have seen my last video, the Iona Beach video, I've got two words for you: nogisimon, cocaine. Enough said. I sure do like accents, you know, English accents. English spoken with an accent is what I'm getting at, more than English accents per se. I gotta tell you, I don't know, I've heard a lot of bad American accents. I'm sure my British accent is horrible. Should try one for you here. See, I have a hopelessly bad British accent. If I could sound a bit like Michael Caine, that would be excellent, because Michael Caine has I guess it's a Cockney accent, but I don't know if that's, I guess that's considered slightly lower class, but from a bystander, it sounds like a pretty cool accent to me. One time, back in university, I should do this in my outrageous American accent. Back in uni, this was some years ago, my friends and I used to go to university over in Victoria, British Columbia, just across the water. And this anti-fog is not working worth a damn. Crap. So, I was over on university, and my parents, being in the military, were stationed down in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And summer vacation was coming up. And so, prior to my departure, my friends and I in Victoria had a bit of a drunk up. And as they had heard that I was going down to the United States, we all started to talk in these outrageous American accents. So we had a good old time, as you all can imagine. And I fell into a deep sleep, and when I awoke early in the morning for my trip, I hopped in my car, and I did not speak to a soul on the way out, because everyone else they were still asleep. And so I got in my car and I drove and drove and drove. When I got to the border, I rolled down the window to talk to the customs officer, the U.S. customs officer. And I said, you know, howdy, or whatever the hell I said. And about halfway through the conversation, I realized I was still speaking in my outrageous American accent. And at that point, I realized I had better keep it up. Otherwise, he might think that I was mocking him. But in reality, I don't know what he thought. But in any event, he let me go through, and I'm mighty grateful. Although realistically, realistically, the American customs they're really only concerned with two things, and that would be people working in the United States. They want to ensure that nobody works in the United States, and they want to prevent all citrus fruits from coming into the United States. That seems to be their two main obsessions. Whereas Canada Customs is obsessed with alcohol, cigarettes, and to a lesser extent firearms and cheese. So that's my story of speaking an American accent. I have a terrible American accent, like all my accents, but I do like to hear them. So you foreigners just keep on speaking your accents here. The secret of the French accent is to pretend that you have smelled something horrible horrible. What is this thing that I smell? Oh God, it's terrible. I think the secret of the Australian accent is to have a slight sneer in your voice. You know? You gotta say, oh, eh. It's a bit like, well now. That's not a knife. So you gotta always end up talking like that. Well, see you guys later. And I've got one other one, which is an obvious one. KTM Dutch rudder. Viagra. Am I right? That Dutch rudder guy, I don't know. The way he's going with his sexual innuendo. His sexual innuendo has reached epic proportions. And the way he's been thrusting at poor Pickle Poo and her hubby makes me think that they might be driven away by the sheer extent of his sexual innuendo.